Welcome to the Manny Perez Show, the show that covers, works on, and solves our community's issues. Yes, we can with the Manny Perez Show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Manny Perez Show. I'm Manuel Perez, Manny, your local community leader, person that helps everyone find solutions. Yes, and I'm also a Northwest Queens Democratic leader. Today, we're going to be talking a bit about politicians. And full disclosure, yes, I am a politician. I'm not the type of politician most people refer to, but I am a politician. And with us is our journalist, Gabriela Ascanio, who will be talking to us a little bit about what's happening in the city and will be helping us discuss this topic of politicians. And with us also is Julio Camacho, our producer. So, Gabriela, let's get started with the news, please.
So, well, every week we talk about the violence, and that's a matter that's gonna keep going because there's always going to be people that hurt others, and especially right now when you go out to the streets, make sure no cars are coming towards you because I've seen in the news that a lot of people has been hit with a car. So not only got hit, then hit and run, and they were left over there in the streets. So as my dad used to say, cars hits hard. So uh, an accident is not a fun thing to experience. So be really aware.
That is a
That
real problem.
also the rage road. Don't pick up fights with other drivers because you don't know. And we were in a situation that a lot of us has our mind complicated with the lockdown, and a lot of people has problems with money and with food, and maybe they left their houses really mad, and then they uh, bump into somebody else that's really mad, and then that end up in something really tragic. So now we're going to talk about politics, and a good news is that the Senate already passed the relief. We're going to be receiving stimulus checks. Also, a lot of people are going to keep receiving the unemployed benefits. So that's a good news. Those are good news because many of us need the money to buy some food, to pay rent, to keep on living, because it's already been really difficult. And we know that a lot of people put obstacles for us to get that help. But now we're gonna get it. I think they talked about that we're gonna get it starting this month. Many of us are going to we're going to start receiving that check this month, and obviously the help of unemployment is going to be, everybody's going to be getting it. I don't know if it's weekly or monthly, but still going to be receiving it.
Yeah.
Another that Mayor de Blasio talked about, renovating the police. They're going to make some changes so there's accountability and transparency, and hopefully no corruption. I say hopefully because in a perfect world, everybody is a good person and nobody's corrupt, but um, everybody's different, and maybe
We are human.
if we have some new rules, maybe others will be afraid to break the rules, and we're going to have a better police department.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gabriela. Let me quickly just point out the issue of crime, of road rage, of the danger of people that are now grabbing their cars and going out, and they haven't driven for months, so they're not good drivers. Besides the fact of sometimes you do have young people who don't have a license and are just taking the cars out into the street without knowing how to drive. It's dangerous. We have to be careful. And I understand that a lot of people feel that, oh, no, I'm protected by the law, I'm protected by insurance. If you get hit by a car, all that protection will not take away the pain. And so that's something that I just point out because accidents can't do happen. I mean, it's something that I know I've been in accidents. They happen. But you prefer avoiding an accident. Okay? So the other thing is, well, Major de Blasio, yes, wants to reform the police, wants to achieve criminal justice and make sure that everything is running well. And that's his job as mayor. That's his job as a politician. All I just remind everyone is pay attention. Read the information. Don't just read the headline. I mean, increasing transparency and accountability is very good. It does have to be done carefully and in such a way that it does not hurt our community. And the other one, well, the stimulus package. Yay! As Gabriela pointed out, there are some politicians that do not support the stimulus package, basically Republican leaders, and they just believe that that the government should not get involved in helping the people. They don't mind having the government help big companies. Those are their friends, I guess. But the important thing is the stimulus package went to the Senate after being approved by the House. The Senate made some modifications, and now it's going back to the House, who, if they approve those modifications and change their bill, it can go to President Biden for his signature and becoming the law. The stimulus package is much more than just unemployment checks, stimulus checks for people. It goes way beyond that. It has money to help the states and cities get through the pandemic and not have so many problems. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's government money, yes. It's like a loan, but a loan to the government, but it basically keeps our economy going. And that's what we want. So that's how politicians think, actually. Because today we're talking about politicians. Some people love politicians, some people hate politicians. And what I say is look at the person. A politician is basically a person who is supposed to be serving the public. You know, and politics is just the science of how we decide how we will live together and work together. But your politician under our form of government is voted in by the people and then has a period of time in which that politician can propose laws, can influence policy, can do things to make the community live better. Some politicians, though, are not in for serving the people. They have slogans, they do this, but they only want power. And yes, they are very, very susceptible to corruption because, yes, I've met people like that. I've met politicians that work that way. And I've actually met organizations where all those politicians work together. They strategized. I don't like it. I think it's unfair to us, the people, but it exists. And why does it exist? Because a lot of people just want to say, oh, I hate politicians. Then they don't participate. If you hate a politician, and it should be a person, get that person out of office. I'm a Democrat. Okay. I think everybody knows that. Here's my face mask. With my ideals, I was against our former president. I felt he was hurting the people. I felt he was a very bad politician, a very bad example of a politician. But hey, he has a lot of supporters. They want a dictator. They want somebody who tells them crazy things so they can just laugh and just not care. You might actually like having somebody tell you what to do, and then you can complain. And we do that very often. But the fact is that we elect our representatives. We, the people. It's not anybody else. Now, I am in the Jackson Heights and Elmhurst area, and East Elmhurst. And I'm running for a position, and I have to get votes from people in my district. If I am being judged because of what another council member somewhere else in New York City did, I think that's unfair. But people get angry. They get angry because some politician, some representative did not approve something they liked. So they hate the politician. Come on. Think. You are much more than one thing. Gabriela has met many politicians, and she's spoken with them. And she knows their people, and sometimes they make mistakes. What ideas do you have, Gabriela?
Um, we tend to trust too much in those people. We have to trust because they make important decisions for us. But we tend to think that they are perfect because they're in that position, and it's not the case. They're going to make mistakes, and hopefully those mistakes are not that bad to make something difficult for us. Hopefully that mistake isn't that he took some money when he wasn't supposed to do that. But they're regular people like us. They shouldn't be making that many mistakes because they have a team that give them advices, and they say maybe you shouldn't do this that way, or maybe you shouldn't approach that way. But they sometimes don't do the things that they were supposed to do, and especially maybe I think that they made a mistake, but for somebody else they made the right choice, because you don't think the same way that I do. We're different, and maybe something that it's a priority for you is not for me. So depending on who you ask that question, they might or might not make a mistake.
Yeah, it's true.
The mistake that they shouldn't be making is that taking money or doing something illegal. That's a mistake that shouldn't be forgiven.
Not at all. If you're breaking the law, I agree with you. And we're actually at the end of this part of our program. So we'll be coming back, and I am going to be tying this to part of the news that Gabriela mentioned. Transparency and accountability. Okay, those are very important. But now we will be right back with the Manny Perez Show. I'm Manuel Perez, our journalist Gabriela Ascanio, and our production engineer Julio Camacho. So we'll be right back. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Manny Perez Show. I'm Manuel Perez, your Northwest Queens community leader, Democratic leader, and your person for success and finding solutions, because we can do it. With me is our journalist, Gabriela Ascanio, and our production engineer, Julio Camacho, and we're talking about politicians. Yes! And in the first part, we actually ended mentioning the problem we have with corruption, with criminal acts, with human mistakes, and sometimes people doing things on purpose. We also mentioned that it's a little bit unfair that we, because of one corrupt person, we say everybody's bad. And in some ways, I think it's kind of like baseball teams. If you listen to people that are watching a baseball team, people have all sorts of opinions. Oh, the pitcher should have pitched a curve instead of a fastball. Oh, no, third base guy was too far to the left. You have all sorts of opinions. And the same things happen with politics, with your politicians. People have opinions. They say, oh, no, it's right. Oh, no, that's wrong. And sadly, sometimes we really put too much emotion into it. We get very angry. We forget that we are a country of laws. And we get so angry that we don't even make sense when we're complaining. And I'm sorry. You think you might make sense when you're screaming out against someone. And I've got to be honest. You got to talk. You got to get communication going. Especially if you're talking to a politician like me who wants to listen to you. Because I'm one of the politicians that believes in serving the people, in being there for you. There are other politicians that want power, that want influence, that maybe want what they think is an easy job with all of their staff and all of the other things. And I hope even the politicians that believe in power are doing what they think is right. At least I hope so. But the key is something Gabriela mentioned at the beginning of the program. And she mentioned that Major de Blasio was making changes to the New York City Police Department to increase transparency and accountability. These are key ideas. And this is what we should expect, yes, even demand from our elected representatives, because they have to be transparent. We have to know what they're doing and usually, understand why they did it. And they have to be accountable. They can't be keeping secrets and not be accountable for what they're doing. If I elected someone, they should be giving me the information I deserve in order to help them govern better. It's that simple. Of course, a lot of politicians don't want to say anything. They want to keep secrets. And they distract you with slogans. And, well, I mentioned in the first program our last president and how he would just say things that weren't true, but people would believe it. He would use his slogans. And he would deny the truth. And at the end, he even denied that the elections were real. He said that they were fake, that people cheated, when he and his government were in charge of making sure that that did not happen. And for those that are listening, there is no proof that anybody cheated. And they went to the court over and over and again, different courts, and different judges says you don't have a case. You're just making false allegations. But politicians do that sometimes. And we don't want to recognize that those politicians are not public servants. And if you hate a politician, I would say get involved. Start finding people that you can support for office. Because honestly, a lot of good people don't want to run for office because it's too much work and you get attacked all over the place. People are criticizing you. They're criticizing you for things you haven't done, you haven't even thought of before, but they want to criticize you or they want to even attack you. So with politicians, I want you to think about what it is you want from a politician and to remember that if you hate politicians, since you're the one that made them, well, you're one of the people, and the people made them representatives, what you're saying is that you chose badly. What you're saying is that you do not control your representatives. And that's a mistake. Because if you're not controlling your representatives, if you're not using your voice to make sure that there's transparency and accountability, well, I think it's like being the owner of a store and having really horrible workers that you employed and then complaining that your store isn't making money or your business. Any thoughts, Gabriela?
I once heard a comedian said that the thing that you were saying about the police. No, not everybody is just a bad apple. Um, it's just a bad apple. It's just a bad apple. Well, there shouldn't be a bad apple because if you said that about a pilot that crashed two planes and just say, "Oh, not everybody is that bad. He's just a bad apple." Are you willing to take the risk that that pilot kills a lot of people just because you want to protect him? It's the same thing. If you see somebody making a mistake or doing something that they weren't supposed to do, you have to say something. It's not right if you feel that their behavior is not the proper behavior that they should be, the things that they should be doing. You have to communicate with somebody above you and say, listen, this person is doing this thing that is not correct, and maybe this shouldn't be his job, or maybe he should be, I don't know, if he has two strikes, if there's some kind of small things, you shouldn't be doing this anymore because you're supposed to be protecting people. And that's why that was kind of funny but kind of really really true, that you cannot afford to have a bad apple in any position of power.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you because having a bad apple, it might be true. I mean, I mean, it's like families that have a black sheep. Okay, there's a member of the family that is not a person that anybody wants around. Okay, but still, they are responsible. They are accountable for what they do. And one of the mistakes I feel we make as people is we want to forgive someone because they're family, they're a friend of a friend, or they gave us a contract and we owe them a favor. Guys, it's your future. And dictators actually make use of that. Dictators, I don't call them politicians. Dictators, autocrats, they're just people who want to use power and they want to push everyone to do whatever they want to. And do they get results? Yeah, they get some results because they just say, this is what we're going to do, and everybody does what they say because otherwise They might get shot, they might get beat up. There's no laws to control them. But in a democracy, we have lots of politicians. And we have lots of people trying to be a politician, trying to get involved. And if you want to get involved, my advice is talk to someone who's already been there, someone who you think is a good public servant. You can also call us at the program, and we're more than willing to talk with you and clarify or explain anything that you find confusing. Because we are a country of laws in the United States. In the United States, with very few exceptions, the legal system will control corruption and irregularities if you have proof. And this is the tricky part, having proof. You can't say, oh, Gabriela told me. No, Gabriela has to say it because she might be the witness. So you have that. You have to also take into account that sometimes, even though we might think it's wrong, it's actually legal. Then we have to change the laws. And yes, it is possible to change the laws. Is it a lot of work? Yeah. Right. President Biden proposed the relief package in January. And it is March now when it's being approved, a little different from what President Biden asked for. Okay, so please remember, in the US, democracy is the form of politics that takes some time to make decisions. It's very often. And we have good public servants, and we have other people that are not public servants, and they make politicians look bad. But that's the truth. What can we do? Gabriela, how much time do I have?
1 minute.
Oh, okay. So I hope I made you think. I hope I made you want to participate and find out more. Find out, who are the candidates right now in the city races? Which one do you like best? What do they stand for? Yes, I know you're going to be looking at a lot of slogans and you're not sure if it's true or not, but do the best you can. Listen to your heart. I know. If you make a mistake, don't get angry. Just realize that, oh, I made a mistake. The important thing is be involved. Be a good citizen. And remember, if you're a good citizen, yes, you're getting involved in politics, and that's good. Because the more of us that participate, the more we, the people, control our politicians. So thank you. I'll see you. We'll be with you next Monday at 7 p.m. And thank you for joining the Manny Perez Show with Manny, Manuel Perez, our journalist Gabriela Ascanio, and Julio en America TV Productions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us on the Manny Perez Show, the show that covers, works on, and solves our community's issues. Yes, we can. The Manny Perez Show.